What's up? Got a couple of extremely expensive lenses here. Shout out to Smitty. What's up, man? Smitty found some brain dead entity that was selling this $1,400 lens, which is top 3 portrait lenses of all time. The 135 f2 DC Nikkor. He found somebody. He was asking me a week or so ago about whether he should buy this lens, and he does a lot of people photography. And now he's sending me pictures of this lens, and this video is not about this lens, by the way. And he's just happier than a worm in a pile of poo. He's just happier than a woodpecker in a lumber yard. Yeah, those are southern expressions. Happier than a pervert in a porn shop. The point is that the same advice that professional clothiers will actually talk about, like for example, there'll be somebody that has like 10,000 shirts and not literally, I mean just tons and tons of clothes. I'm almost one of those persons, but they don't have anything good, and you are much happier if you have 1/10 of a gigantic pile of stuff and let that stuff be really, really good. You know, if you have like 4 nice outfits, I mean really nice, it's better just to have 4 nice outfits than it is to have like 100, raggedy clothes from Walmart or Kmart. The same thing is true of lenses, and I actually noticed this a lot, and I had someone have me review their pictures, which I don't like to do. And their eye for lighting was excellent, but the pictures could have been so much better, not due to something that they did or didn't do, but they were using this crappy kit zoom lens. And look, we all have budgets, but something I see people do a lot is that they'll buy a really expensive camera and then they'll buy a crappy kit lens to go with it. Well, I know that you think the camera is the engine of your photography, but really it's the lenses. And you could have a D5000 body or some cheap body. If you like bird photography, for example, you got 1 of 2 routes. Well, you don't have 2 routes, but I'll see someone buy an expensive, like the Nikon D500. Just incredible. Absolutely the best camera to pick up for wildlife and bird photography, especially birds in flight. Basically, now every bird in flight photographer has already got a Nikon D500. And then they'll buy some crappy kit lens, and that don't work. Obviously I know you can only afford so much at one time, but I mean, if you had this lens, for example, I know this is a $1,400 lens. This is a Nikkor 200 to 500, which I've got a couple of them now, by the way. Yeah, don't ask me why. It's better to have this lens and like a refurb Nikon D7100. You'd be a lot happier if you were, for example, a bird photographer with a cheap camera and, the lens that is the absolute best. The point is that whatever it is that you're most interested in doing, whether it's portrait photography like Smitty or bird photography, splurge. Now I'm all about 90. I've got over 1,500 videos on buying the cheapest, best gear, but it is the case that you should splurge on one lens. Like Smitty was asking me, for example, and he found this lens just for just stupid cheap for like $600, and he's just so happy now. The pictures he sent me are incredible. He's just talking about what a game changer his people and portrait photography is now, and it's like, yeah, I know. Skills are one thing, skills are vitally important. It's 85% of photography, basically. But if you're going to splurge on one thing, figure out whatever it is you do and buy the best for that. If you're a portrait photographer, splurging at the best portrait lens. If you're a sports action, birds in flight, wildlife photographer, splurge and get an awesome, lens that is the best that you could get. Now, you could obviously buy a $15,000 500mm f4 for something. And those lenses are just, look at, I've used those lenses. Those lenses are not only insanely expensive, and you have to have insurance on them because they're relatively fragile, but they're absolutely huge. They're just huge. Huge lenses. This is really as large as it gets for practicality, the 200 to 500. But whatever it is, portraiture, wildlife, splurge on that one lens. And this is the one time where you shouldn't be a tightwad. There are a lot of options that are nearly as good for cheaper amounts of money, but if you're going to save your money and splurge on whatever it is that you want to do most, bird photography, portraiture photography, photojournalism or say street photography. If you're a street photographer, and I've seen this a lot too, someone's like, I just love to go out and do street photography, and they've got some little decent mid-range zoom lens. Well, that's fine, but I mean, invest in like a hardcore Zeiss 35mm prime, for example. And I know it's a manual focus. I mean, it has to be autofocus. That's fine too. I mean, invest in that expensive street lens. You know, if you're going to have 4 or 5 lenses, whatever it is that you're focused on that you want to do most, have the best of the best lens for that. And this is the one time, and basically I think this is the only video I've ever made where I say splurge. Splurge on that one lens. Like Smitty's splurge, this lens is over $1,300, and he found one for half that much. And he's just happier than, he's just crazy happy. Word, Smitty, what's up? And, you know, now he's so happy he got it. And that's really what everybody should do. Now, I know there's budgetary constraints and whatnot, and that's all perfectly understandable, but just, you know, buy the best lens that you can get for your money, and if it's not good enough, then save more money and hold off. You know, I don't say you have to have the best lens for, you know, I've got hundreds of lenses, but I mean, I'm a nut job. You know, I have that, and I'm able to be helpful and say there's all these various ranges of lenses. This is the quality relative to that. This is the quality relative to this. But, you know, if I know I'm going to go out and have fun doing some bird shooting, I'm going to grab the best of what I got. If I know I'm going to do a portrait shot, I'm going to grab the best of what I got, which is like the 105 or the 135 or, you know, the 85 Zeiss. I'm not going to grab something that's good enough. I'm going to grab the best of what I got. And so just think about that, and I noticed that really kind of crops up a lot. It's like, how long have you been doing street photography? Oh, a long time. It's like they got 3 cameras and they've got like a dozen lenses, for example. It's like, well, what do you love the most? Well, I love street photography. Well, you got like two or three cameras, you got a dozen lenses, but you don't have anything nearly close to like the best lens for street photography or the best lens for portraiture. And that's what everybody should do. And anyway, it's just a philosophy of what you should invest in relative to what it is that you are shooting or want to shoot or what makes you happy or what you're making money at. So, catch you later. Happy 4th of July. Bye. Oh. Pinched my fingers there.